Hello, this video is for the Parent Teacher YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about how you can teach your child to follow along with her finger when reading. This is sometimes called tracking with your finger. Now, before we begin, you may ask yourself, why should I teach my child to follow along and read with her finger? Well, in my teaching and parenting experience, having children actually touch a page while they read, especially early on, helps them work on tracking with their eyes. They don't lose their place as easily. Now, struggling or emergent readers often lack motivation to read because it is hard, and that leads to loss of focus and becoming distracted. So tracking with your finger, following along, also helps you focus. Now, you don't need to have your child point with his or her finger forever, but it really can move along the process of learning to read. Once your reader is fluent and reads independently fairly well, they won't need to use their finger as much. Before I share the steps I took, before I share those steps with you, let me tell you a little about my background. I've been in education for over 10 years, and I've spent a majority of my time working with primary students, especially kindergarten and first graders. And I've had a lot of focus on helping struggling readers. I'm a big believer in children beginning their reading journey early. I began working with my own children on their reading skills very early. And for each child it was different, as it is for all children. Everyone's different. For my son, he was not even 3 years old when he tearfully begged me to teach him to read one night. My daughter was probably about 3.5, and she needed a little more encouragement. Some children and parents may not begin until later, perhaps when formal schooling starts. There's a variety of reasons for that. So I'm telling you this not to brag about what I've done or what my children have done, but just to remind you that everyone has their own individual case. Everyone's different. But if you are trying to start your child young, if they're 3, 4, or 5 years old, these steps may help you. And they're just suggestions. If your child is older, you may need to modify these steps. But my point is this: using your finger to help you track and stay focused can be important for an emergent or beginning reader. So here are the steps that I took to help my children learn to do this. First, I modeled. So the parent models or points independently. The second step, the parent points while the child holds on. The third step, the child points while the parent guides. And the fourth step, the child points independently. The goal is to get to step 4 so they don't need your help anymore. Now we're going to look at some video footage of each step so you can see how I went through this process. I want to point out that my daughter has already gone through all these steps and now can point independently when she's in the mood to do so. She's almost 5. Sometimes she's not in the mood. Now the first step is parent modeling. Before your child begins reading for himself, it's important to give him a love of reading. We do this by reading bedtime stories with excitement, involving our children by asking them questions about what we're reading, or we ask them to make predictions. And we let them join in on repetitive parts or rhymes in books that we've read repeatedly. When our children are ready to begin their own reading journey, again, it starts with modeling or showing them how to do it. In this video, I will be pointing to the words for my daughter while she reads. You might think you don't need to do this. You may think, oh, my child will already know what to do when I say point to the words. But your child might not know. You will not believe how many times I have seen first graders cover up a whole word with their finger and then try to read it. You can't read what you can't see. So modeling is important. You get to read.
Woo! Woo! What's in the basket? Biscuits.
Let's read 2 more.
Meow. It's Daisy. Meow, meow. Daisy had 2 kittens.
Okay, and so after we did this for a while, we modeled for a long time. I noticed my daughter was not focused very well on words, so then we switched to more of an assisted pointing.
So here's the first stage of assisted pointing. This is where the parent points and the child holds on.
Here, we're going to show them what it looks like when you hold my finger. Okay, don't start reading yet. Can you grab my finger? Remember how we had other hand? So it helps if you do right hand, right hand. Use your right hand, this one. Yeah, okay. Let's get it close. So I'm going to show you, I don't know if you can see, she's just grasping my finger. And whoop, go down a little bit, Katie. Right there, right there. Now you can see the word better, right? Okay. All right, that's fine. What does it say?
Woof, woof. Biscuit. Wants to play with the kittens.
Okay, let's switch to another one. So after a while of doing that, of having her hold my finger as we pointed just to help her focus, then we switch to the next step.
Here's the next step. Child points while parent guides.
It's your turn. Make your pointer finger, and I'm going to hold your hand.
Meow, meow. The king want to play with a leaf. Woof, woof. Biscuit wants to play too.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see. I'm going to move this book a minute. Okay, good job. Make your pointer finger again. Show them how you make the pointer. Yeah. So then I just gently hold her kind of near the wrist with my thumb and actually my fourth finger, and two fingers on top, and I just kind of guided her. She's pretty good now. She doesn't need as much guiding. And I'm going to say in the beginning, she's young, so we did probably 10 minutes at the max for our reading time.
So as you can see, you can hold their wrist almost like you would a mouse for a computer. And to clarify, when I said 10-minute reading time, I'm talking about reading for only 10 minutes at a time. Young emergent readers can wear out easily, especially if you're asking them to physically move their pointer finger as they read. So don't expect to be reading for 20 minutes right away. I know it doesn't sound like much, but this can be exhausting for kids. It is working on a fine motor skill that can be a major challenge for young children. Last one, child points independently.
Okay, now the last one is her pointing on her own.
Biscuit sees his ball. Meow, meow. The can see a cricket.
Very good, you can stop. So as you can see, then she's advanced to the point where she does her own pointing, and I am just there to help with words and redirect if needed.
Now, you may need to go back and model occasionally. I know if we have missed several days of reading, sometimes I have to go back and model how to do this for her if she begins to cover the whole word. Sometimes her hand gets tired, so I will point for her if she needs me to. For instance, at the end of a reading session. It is perfectly acceptable to go back to step 1 or 2 or 3 as needed. There is no wrong way to teach your child this skill. These are only ideas to help. So again, here are the steps I took to teach my own children to follow along with their finger when reading, or to track with their finger. As an educator and a parent, I find this simple skill very important to early reading success. It can take time to progress through each step, more so with young readers. As I alluded to in the videos, we progressed to the next step when my daughter was ready. I would say a couple of weeks was what it took for steps 2 and 3 with my daughter. The goal is for the child to be able to point independently. So when we were progressing through the steps for my daughter, I would ask her if she wanted to help me when we progressed to step 2. So after lots of modeling, I would say, I'll point. Can you help me? Can you help me point? And she would just hold my hand. For step 3, I told her, why don't you try pointing and I'll help you? So I'd have her make the pointer finger and I'd just hold her hand. Sometimes she said no, and that was okay. I just kept pointing for her. Reading time needs to be fun, not a battle. If you have an older child, you may only need to model for a short time and then progress quickly through steps 2 and 3, or simply be able to skip them. It's up to you and your child. Just remember, reading is a challenging journey, but it is better together with your patience. I want to thank you for watching this video for Parent Teacher YouTube channel. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them for me here. Please subscribe to our channel if you want more ideas on how to help your young reader or a struggling reader. And you can like and share with those who you think would find this video to be helpful. Thank you.